Hi grade 5s, today we're going to look at factors and multiples. Now this is very grand words that are being used in mathematics, but it's actually very simple things that we can apply in mathematics. So let's have a look at it. So when I ask you to give me the multiples of a certain number, it's actually the same as counting. So you are doing multiples from grade R. So let's look, for example, when I ask you to write 5 multiples for each of the following numbers, starting with 9, then you need to write down 5 multiples of this number. Not more, not less, otherwise you won't receive all your marks in the test. So my first one will be 9, 18, 27, 36, and 45. Please note that I'm starting with 9. Remember when your grade 1 teacher taught you to count and she said count in 2s or 3s, you didn't start with 4 or 6. You started by counting 2, 4, 6. Alright, so I make it easy enough for you, so I give you the first multiple. So let's check number B. So the multiples of 4 is 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. Then 10, it's very easy, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. And then 21 is 21, 42, 63, 84, and 105. And then the last one is 45, 90, 135, 180, and 225. Now normally in a test or in a homework, I will ask you the questions as follows. Write the multiples of 3 between 23 and 31. So now you need to count in 3s. So let's quickly do that. It's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, and 36, and so on. So now you need to go and check which of these numbers is between 23 and 31, and then your answer will of course be 24, 27, and 30, and that's it. Okay, then write the multiples of 7 between 10 and 30. So that means you need to count in 7s to see which numbers is between 10 and 30. So it's going to be 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, and so on. So which numbers is between 10 and 30? That will be 14, 21, and 28. Now, write any 2-digit number that is a multiple of 8. So what is a 2-digit number again? That is a number that has 2 digits, like 10, 11, 12, 50, 99, and whatever. Okay, so once again we're going to start counting in 8. So it's 8, 16, 24, and 32. So I'm going to write the first one. It's the easiest and I know it's correct. So it's 16, but you could have wrote down 24, 32, and so on, as long as it is a multiple of the number 8. Then the last one, write any 2-digit number that is a multiple of 2 and 5. So now you need to see what number 2 goes into and 5 goes into. So let's quickly count in 2s. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And if we count in 5s, it's 5, 10, 15, and 20. So the easiest one will be 10. Of course, 20 will also be correct, but I always choose the first one because it's very easy to get to that number and I know for a fact that it is correct. So factors is the next one that we're going to look at, and factors are numbers that can be divided into a number without a remainder. So now I'm going to ask you to write down all the factors of each of the following numbers, starting with a 10. So quickly look here. I always going to start my answer with F10 double dot. Alright, so the F stands for the factor and then the 10 is the number of the factor that I'm going to look at. Alright, so now I need to see what numbers will divide into 10 without a remainder. And with factors, you will always write down a number 1. So 1 goes into 10 how many times? 10 times. Please note that I wrote my 10 at the back. Alright, can I say that 2 goes into it? Let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, it does. So I can write down 2. And how many times do I need to divide 2 into 10? I need to divide it into 10 5 times. 3 doesn't go in and 4 doesn't go in. Now I'm at 5 again. Now I don't need to write down 5 because I already wrote it down. So when I'm at a factor that is already written down, I know I'm done. There will be no other factors and I can continue to the next one. So let's see. What is my first part of the answer that I'm going to write down? It's F15 double dot. So I know 1 always goes into a number. How many times does 1 go into 15? And that's 15 times. Alright, I know 2 won't go in because 2 only goes into even numbers and 15 is not an even number. Will 3 go into it? Yes. How many times do I need to divide 3 into 15? 5 times. 4 doesn't go in. 5 goes in, but it's already there, so I know I'm done. I can carry on to my next one. So I'm going to write F21. Okay, always write down number 1 because 1 goes into 21 times. Once again at the back. I know 2 won't go into it because it's not an even number. So 3 goes into 21 how many times? 7 times. And 4 doesn't go in, 5 doesn't go in, 6 doesn't go in, 7 goes in again, but I already wrote it down, so now I'm done. Then I can continue to 50. So the first thing I write down is F50 double dot. I always write down 1. 1 goes into 50 times. Note my 50 is a bit farther back because there's more factors to the 50 than with the other numbers. I know 2 will go into it because it's an even number. 2 times what gives me 50? It's 25. Then 5 goes into 50 how many times? 10 times. Then I'm done. Alright. F100 double dot. 1 goes into 100 100 times. 2 will go into it because it's an even number. 2 times 50 gives me 100. 4 will go into it. 4 times 25 gives me 100. 5 times what gives me 100? 20. And then 10 times 10 will go in as well. Look, I didn't write 10 2 times. I only wrote it once. Alright. So whenever I ask you to write down all the factors, you just can't go and write 1 and 10. You need to write down the other factors as well. Otherwise, you won't get your full marks in the test or in the exam. Right, the last part of my factors that I'm going to look at is factor pairs. So factor pairs is actually your timetables. So what we did on the previous slide, I wrote the 1 first and I wrote the one that I need to multiply it with at the back. And then I went to the center. So look here. So I'm going to say 1 times 10 gives me 10 and 2 times 5 is 10. My 15 is 1 times 15 and my 3 times 5. So I work from the front to the back and then into the middle. Alright, to make it easier for yourself. So 1 times 21 and 3 times 7. 1 times 50. 2 times 25. 5 times 10 gives me 50. Then 1 times 100, 2 times 50, 4 times 25, 5 times 20, and then now you will see you worked from the front to the back and now you're in the middle and there's nothing that you can multiply the 10 with. But when that happens, you know it's the same number. So it's 10 times 10 gives me 100. Alright, now we're going to go to a second part of this video. It's the 3-digit numbers times 2-digit numbers. Unfortunately, I need to learn you 2 methods. Alright? Both methods need to be practiced in. So in your homework, you will see I ask you to use the first method, the breakdown method, and then also the rounding off method. Alright? It needs to be practiced in. But when you're on an exam or on a test, then you will be able to choose any method that is the easiest for you. But I need to learn both methods to you, and you also need to practice it in your homework. Alright, so let's quickly start. The first method that we're going to look at is the breakdown method. Alright, so it's actually the same as what we did in the first lesson of the first quarter. It's where you break up your hundreds, your tens, and your ones. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to write brackets because I want to divide or break up my first number. Alright, so I'm going to say 700 plus 60 plus 8. That gives me 768. I still write down my times sign because it doesn't go to a plus or minus sum all of a sudden. It stays a multiple sum. Then I write down a second bracket, and then I'm going to break that number up. It's 30 plus 1. Now here comes the difficult part. Because you have 3 numbers, you need to multiply each number with 30 and with a 1. So the easiest way, what I used to do, is I made arrows. So let's quickly check. I say 700 times 30. Now how do I do that? It's 2 big numbers. The easiest way is to close your zeros, and 7 times 3 is 21. And how many zeros do I need to put at the back? 3. So my answer is 21,000. Alright. Now I need to multiply my 60 with my 30. And once again, just close my zeros. 6 times 3 is 18. How many zeros did I close to? 2, and I just wrote down the 2 zeros at the back. So I plus 1,800. Then I'm going to say 8 times 30. 8 times 3 is how much? It's going to be 24, and I closed 1 0. Alright, now I multiplied all 3 numbers with my 30. Now I need to multiply all 3 numbers again with my 1. Everything multiplied by 1 stays that number, so that's easy. 700 times 1 is plus 700. 60 times 1 gives me plus 60. And then 8 times 1 gives me plus 8. Then you can use any method to add all your numbers together, as long as you get the answer of 23,808. Okay. Then my second method is the rounding off method. But now you need to listen very carefully. I don't ask you to round it off to the nearest 10. Alright? Because in this instance, 31, the nearest 10 will be 30. Because the one at the back shows me it will be 30. But now I want you to round it off to the next 10. So the easiest way to do it is when you have a 2-digit number and you need to multiply using the rounding off method, you just close the number at the back. Then you will see when I close my 1, it's a 30. So my next 10 after 30 will be 40. Let's quickly look. Alright, so once again I'm going to start by breaking it up. So it's going to be 700 plus 60 plus 8. My sign is going to stay the same. It's multiply my times sign. Then I'm going to break it up. But look, close the 1 and the 30 is going to become the 40 because it's not to the nearest 10, it's to the next 10. That's the secret, the next 10. So I'm going to say 40. So how much do I need to subtract from my 40 to get 31? I need to minus 9. Right. So then I just start again. 700 times 40 is going to give me 28,000. Remember, if it's too big for you to multiply with, close the zeros. Then it's 7 times 4 will give you 28, and then you just add your zeros. 60 times 40 is plus 2,400, and 8 times 40 is plus 32. Alright, now what I need to do is I need to multiply my 3 numbers with my last number. But note now, it's a -9 and not a plus sign. So here comes the trick. Whenever you have a plus, like the 700 is a positive sign, so it's plus 700 times a -9, your answer will be minus. Okay, so I see I made a mistake there in that bubble. Please just fix it. It's a plus times minus equals to a minus and not a plus. Okay, so plus 700 times a -9. So my sign is going to change to a minus and then 6,300. A plus times a minus gives me minus, so it's minus 540. Plus 8 multiply with a -9 gives you minus 72, and then you can do any calculations to do your adding and your subtracting, and then you will get the same the same answer as 23,808. Alright, please just fix that in the bubble that I made a mistake to say it's plus times a minus gives me a plus. It's actually a minus, as you can see in the sum what I did. Right, let's just quickly do another one of the rounding off methods because it's a bit difficult. Alright, so now I'm asking you 951 times 26. Alright, so remember, rounding off when you multiply means the next 10, not the nearest 10. Okay, so once again I'm going to break it up. So it's 900 plus 50 plus my 1 times, and then it's going to be, if I close my 6, my next 10 after 20 will be 30. Alright, and how much do I need to subtract from 30 to get to 26? It's minus 4. Alright, so then I'm going to multiply my three numbers with my first number. So it's 900 times 30 is going to give me 27,000. Then my 50 times my 30 is going to be plus 1,500, and my 1 times 30 is plus 30. Now once again I made the same mistake, so it's my plus times a minus will give me a minus. Please just correct that in your workbooks. Alright, so my 900 has a plus sign in front of it. So plus 900 multiply with minus 4 is going to give me a minus sign. So it's minus 3,600. Then my 50 minus multiply with a minus 4 is going to give me a minus 200. And 1 times minus 4 is minus 4. Once again, you can do any calculations to do your adding and your subtracting as long as you get to the answer of 24,726. Right, then your homework. Please use this video to do your worksheet 7 and 7.1. It was sent to you via WhatsApp. But please note, is one document. There won't be 2 documents. The worksheets is in one PDF document. So you will see it starts with worksheet 7, and then all the questions of worksheet 7 is there. Then I draw a line, and then worksheet 7.1 starts. So it will be one document. So everything is in one document to make it very easier for you. Please stay safe, and then I hope to see you soon.